Need some mobility? Join me for this 5-minute sequence. We're going to start on all fours. You want to have your toes tucked or your feet flat, whichever feels better for your knees. And we're going to start with a little cat-cow. So as you exhale, you're going to round your spine up toward the ceiling, dropping your head, dropping your tail, thinking about letting the neck be nice and long. As you inhale, you're going to drop the belly, lift the head and the tail. As you exhale and inhale, and you don't have to do this at my speed, you can pause this anytime to take more time with it. Just noticing how much your spine moves and how it feels. As you round up, make sure you're really dropping your head. And as you drop your belly, really let it go. On the next one, you're going to exhale and round up and hold here while you take a few breaths. Every time you inhale, see if on the exhale you can let a little bit more movement happen. This is when you really want to push into the spots in your spine that feel like they're not moving as well. You're going to keep breathing in this position. Beautiful. And then release and drop into your cow position and do the same thing. Here, we really want to focus on letting the belly go. We've been very trained to keep the belly tight, keep it pulled in. We're going to let it completely drop, which is going to help your pelvic floor to relax too. So as you exhale, you're dropping more into it. Next, if your toes aren't tucked, go ahead and tuck them, and we're going to extend one leg out to the side. We're going to be doing an adductor stretch, where we're going to rock back so the hips come back toward the heel, and then forward again. We're stretching that inner thigh, that's your adductors, and you'll see I shifted my foot there, and you can play around with that too with different positioning. So we're going to rock forward and back a few times, and then we're going to sit with it. And maybe that's enough, or maybe you're going to go ahead and untuck your foot. Maybe you're going to reach your hands out. You don't have to do any of that. If it feels better to keep tucked and keep your body more lifted, that is 100% fine. The goal is to stay in this stretch for a minute and breathe into it. And then we're going to reset and do the other side. Again, rocking back and forth. So I like to actively push myself back with my arms so that I get a little extra stretch. Again, adjusting that foot position if you need to on the extended leg. And then sinking back into it. And maybe you stay right there, or maybe you tuck the foot, and maybe you come all the way down. If it feels good to your body, listen to what your body is telling you. Sometimes this is too much, sometimes it's just right. Either way, keep taking nice deep breaths as you sit into the stretch. Next, we're taking it to thread the needle. Come back to all fours. Reach your right hand up toward the ceiling, nice and long, and then thread it behind your left hand, bringing your right shoulder and the right side of your head down to the floor. You're going to stay in this position and breathe. Your hips are square to the wall behind you. You can take that top hand and gently push into your fingers to encourage rotation through the rib cage, but don't force it. I really like to allow rotation. So you can inhale, and then as you exhale, let it rotate a little more. Go ahead and switch to your other side. Hips staying nice and square, and breathe. Press gently into the fingers on the top arm. Inhale, expand the ribs, and exhale, see if you can't just allow a little bit more rotation to happen here. Keep breathing. Next, we're coming back into all fours to set up for bird dog. You're going to reach your right hand and your left foot out, and then bring them back in. The key is to keep your core nice and stable so that you're not twisting or losing your stability here. And a really good self-check for that is whether or not, as you come back in, you're able to just bring your leg and your foot into position. If you have to shift around a lot, that's a sign that you've lost your core. So really think about keeping everything nice and tight through the middle as you reach. And think of this as a reach rather than a lift. There's no points for height here. So you really shouldn't go any higher than parallel to the ground. I like to flex my foot, but you don't have to. You can try it both ways. We're going to shift gears into a little foot stretch here. I'm wearing very minimal shoes here, so this is fine, but if you're not, you might want to take your shoes off for this one. So sitting back on my heels and giving it a little bit of a rock side to side to stretch out the soles of the feet, and then I'm going to flatten out the tops of my feet, and I'm going to sit back and lift up one knee, only if that feels good. For me, that feels really nice to get a little extra stretch across the top of the ankle. Back into all fours for one more thing. We're going to go into bear breathing. So you're going to push the floor away really actively with your arms and then lift your knees so they're hovering just off the ground. You should be able to put something on your back as if it were a table. And then this is a great place to play around with a little bit of head range of motion. So you're going to look up and down, turn your head side to side, do some circles. See how much movement you can get out of your neck when you're holding this nice strong core position. And you're going to continue to breathe throughout in this bear breathing position. Keep breathing, keep moving through the head, and then come on down. We're going to finish in child's pose, and I went through this pretty fast, so please feel free to take some extra time here. I'm going to walk my arms over to the side so that I get a long stretch through the opposite side of the body. Breathe a couple of breaths here. Again, take more time if you need to. You can always pause this. And then walk the arms over to the right side and feel that stretch through the left side of the body. The hips go straight back. This is a really nice position to end with. Come back through the center and come on up, and you are done. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you feel as good as I did when I filmed this.